Hi, this is Pam from Paper and Mallet, and I've had a few requests to show what is in my art journal. So I thought I'd make a quick video, hopefully it's quick, and show you guys what I put into this. So basically here is a completed number 7 journal that this is the 7th one that I've finished since I started making art about 5 years ago. In it, I put everything from my classes that I learn and just various things that I'm practicing. So I'll just do a quick show through and show you what this completed journal has in it. What this is a 9x12 mixed media Canson journal. It's a pretty big size, but I like it because it gives me room to kind of spread out and just be messy and create without having to be really tiny and detailed. So anyway, here we go. So this first image was from a class I took with Mindy Lacefield, and I've taken quite a few classes from her. She's got a real whimsical style, and I find it's fun to be, and very much about nothing is wrong or perfect, and the arms are skinny, and the legs are skinny, and the face is, everything is just more whimsical. So it's kind of been a fun, she's a fun teacher to learn from. This was a class I took with Julie Johnson, and it's called Scribble Art. It's not the one I'm currently taking with her, but she does a lot with just really loosely, quickly putting color down and not thinking too much about it. And so that's what this image was from. I work on about 3 journals all at the same time. So if one has paint that's drying, then I just move right on into the next journal. I don't wait for it to dry. And sometimes I'll take a dryer to it, but a lot of times I just move on to the next journal. It just makes it easier. I practice a lot of girls, a lot of faces. It's really hard. It's hard to learn eyes. It's hard to learn nose. It's hard to learn mouth, and it's all of it's hard. So you'll see a lot of images of faces in this as we're going through, and a lot of them look somewhat distorted, and I think that's part of finding your own style, your own image, your own look. And a lot of just practicing and copying images I might find on Pinterest or in catalogs. This is another girl from a class from Mindy Lacefield, another whimsical girl. Oops. I don't think you can see the texture from this video, but most of these have a lot of layers and a lot of texture, and this is another class from her. This was a collage that from that same class with Mindy Lacefield, and I don't really like the way this turned out, but she used all these different collage pieces, and we put it all together in perspective, and it's supposed to be kind of whimsical, but that just goes to show you not every piece, not every finished product are you going to like, but it's kind of a learning process, and each one kind of propels you forward to the next step. So lots of practicing, lots of girls, lots of, images. This was a different class I took called, what was it called? It was Studying Under the Masters. It was on the Jean Oliver Network, Creative Network, and she offers a ton of classes, and she herself teaches classes as well. And it's awesome if you ever want to take any online art classes. It's awesome, that site. But this was Studying Under the Masters, and basically the artist took a master artist from the past, from history, and studied them and did their own version of them. And so I was learning under Melody Ross had chosen the artist Gustav Klimt, and I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but he uses a lot of gold and whimsy, and I obviously used some of the same color palette, but changed it up a little bit. I didn't use the shiny, sparkly gold and stuff like that. This was from that same Studying Under the Masters. Not sure what artist we were following here. And this one as well. This was from a class that I took with Junelle Jacobson. She does a lot with sketching. She's really good at that, at teaching how to sketch and show, and then use different mixed media techniques over the top of that. So I think that's the only one in this book from her. Lots of faces, lots of learning shading and how the light is coming from a certain direction, then how that would look. There's a lot to learn. This was also that same studying under the masters and learning about Gustav Klimt. Okay, there's the gold, my muted version of his work. These are some images that, I see on Pinterest and gives me the idea. I might use them on Instagram. You might see them there, or on a blog post. This was on a blog or Instagram, maybe both. This was an image I did last December. I was getting ready to launch my website, and I was feeling a little tentative about it. Then I was going to let go of my Etsy site and go full on into having my own website, and not really sure what I was doing and feeling like, is this really what I should be doing? So this was an image of me kind of looking through the curtain of, am I going to be brave or am I going to be scared? And what does it matter? So wearing too many hats in this one with a tiny little hand. I don't know if you can see that, but oops, skipped one. There, another girl. This is a collage using like book paper you just cut out and just different, some from scrapbooking paper, and just collaging it all together. I'll turn this. This is an image that I did for my husband's business, Insect Shield. I drew their Christmas card, and then they, printed it out and had it done. And I took this image from a catalog and just converted it into insects, a winter scene for insects, which is kind of a fun thing to do. Just lots of practicing. This was an image I took from an anthropology catalog without they open the door. Just like the colors and the style of the door. Same with this image. Although, funny, my youngest daughter said this looked like a baby rattle. And obviously the idea was it would look like a glass of wine. So I have a lot of practicing to do to get things to look how they're supposed to look. This is Horizon, Abstract Horizon. Okay, so this gal, you probably can't see all the texture. This is just layers of paint and cool texture. But her profile obviously needs some work, and it's hard. I'll admit, I've been practicing, and this is what you get. So just got to keep doing it over and over and over again. And it's easier to work from an image. And a lot of times I like to just try it without the image, but obviously with the image, you can get a little bit better the dimensions. This is another one that has just a ton of texture. I really like laying down painting the page with multiple colors, maybe leftover paint, and then scribbling into it with a tool, and then painting over it. And then the page already has a lot of imperfections. So I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of texture in her face. So it just doesn't allow you to get caught up in, it's going to look perfect. Unless that's your style, which it isn't my style. I want it to look kind of distorted and old looking. This is one for my blog. Lots of texture running up the sides here. Just quotes and images. Another one with lots of texture. Another girl, just lots of practice over and over again. Similar. This is a image from Pinterest. There's so many cool images there, and it's just a great starting point when you're sitting looking at a blank piece of paper going, what should I do now? What should I draw? This is supposed to be a glass of water. Not really. Doesn't really look like that. I'm not sure what it looks like, but the texture on this page is unbelievable. I wish you were here to kind of feel it, and just the colors, I love this. And then just some quotes I've been doing to fill in, like for my blog and on Instagram, you'll see these. I'm not I don't do hand lettering, but so it's kind of funky handwriting. And sometimes I write with my left hand, so it really looks funky. Yep, just tons of texture, tons of layers. Okay, so this gal's profile, maybe a little better, but still really extreme, and nobody really looks like that. So it's about finding your style and finding your way and practicing and just, on and on, just keep going. And the other idea, I think, is to share, even if you don't feel like it's good enough. I think it's important to share because we're all a work in progress. And by sharing, you're kind of reaching out and people can give feedback, or it just forces you then to share more and just get better at what you're doing. This was another class I took, and it was called, I just recently took this with Ivy Newport, and Sacred Figurative Landscape, or Sacred Landscape Figurative, or something like that. But this was the first one in the class. And I don't really like it so much, other than I like the colors and I like this part of it. The image I didn't like so much, but that's kind of part of it. It's just like practice and just keep going. And these are just, this was one, I started this, I learned a new technique where you use oil pastels, and you scribble them on, and then you paint over it with acrylic paint, and then you scratch it off, and it leaves this really unique kind of old world look to it. It's a very cool technique. So I've been doing that. You'll see, I was practicing that a lot on these images. It just gives extra texture, which I'm really into texture, obviously. Keep talking about it. This was from the Ivy Newport class on the figurative as well. And this one I think turned out much better. And she's a great teacher. And these teachers just have so much to bring to the table. And just kind of teaching you a different way to look at your art and what you're making. And obviously someone like me who didn't go to art school, I'm starting from ground zero. So everything a teacher has to teach me, I'm, soaking it up, learning and practicing. This was another one from Ivy's class. And basically she just had us paint on the lights and darks with 2 different colors or 3 different colors. And wow, when you step back, when I was doing it, I couldn't really see it. But then when I stood back, I was very impressed with how that turned out. And it just kind of evoked a lot of emotion, and just from the use of color with a little bit of black and a little bit of white. This was from that class too. This one I didn't like, it's okay. And hers turned out was kind of different, but that's how it is. We all have to find our own way, and it's more about kind of not having a face, but having the illusion of a face. And my body turned out more body than it was supposed to, but that's how it goes. Just quotes and art, simple shapes. This is the last page in my art journal, this number 7 journal. And this is a class I'm currently taking with Julie Jacobson, and it's called Making Art Sing. And she has you just scribble your charcoal pencil and your Stabilo pencil and your watercolor pencils on, and then use up kind of a paintbrush and learn teaching perspective and just the outline of people. And wow, I'm just learning so much from her. And this was something if you just showed me this picture, I would say, oh, I can't do that. But just following along and learning from a teacher who's so experienced, you're able to create things that you would never have imagined otherwise. So thanks for looking through my art journal with me. If you have any questions, feel free at the bottom of this to ask any questions or make any comments. And I'm hoping to maybe make some more videos as we go along. This is the first one, and we'll